Hello, it's Jamie J. I am shareholder with Bottleneck Distant Assistance, and this is Live with Bottleneck, where we help stop the bottleneck in your business and soon in your life. So we're going to be stopping the bottleneck not only in your business but your life. That's coming soon. Just a little foreshadowing there. But I'm really excited to talk to Rick Morgin today. We're going to be talking about, is your business franchisable? This is going to be this is cool. It's been a while since we talked anything about franchising, and I'm really interested to dive into this because it's something that we're even maybe considering something like that. So we're kind of excited. I should say I am very excited. So we'll go ahead and kick this thing off. We'll be right back in about 38 seconds. Hello, it's Jamie J. I am the shareholder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance. That's not why we're here today, though, but we are here to help stop the bottleneck in your business. This name of the show is Live with Bottleneck. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we come to you live on either YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and we interview amazing, brilliant, and talented, gifted business individuals, minds that are just blow you away with their concepts. And so what we're hoping that this does is, if this is something you're interested in, or maybe you haven't thought about it, we want to kind of change it up a little bit, maybe offer you a different perspective and to look a way to look at things. So, oh my gosh, and I have to say, ta-da, Disney Burton, nice to see you. So if everybody knows, I'm writing a book, and I met Disney through the publisher, and man, she is an amazing human being. That being said, if you have any questions today throughout this conversation, you want to ask Rick anything, please pop on and in the comment section, either on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, ask your question. If you're watching this in a replay, feel free to leave a comment and a question there. I'll do my best to get that information to Rick. So let's go ahead and jump into this today. We're going to be talking to Rick Morgin, who's a consultant of the Franchise Consulting Company. The discussion today is your business franchisable? And why, oh, why would Rick be able to be in a position to help you stop the bottleneck in your business? Well, let me tell you. Rick is a consultant with a franchise consulting company. They assist clients with educational process of researching and selecting available franchise businesses that best suit desired lifestyles and financial goals. The research, qualification, application service they provide is free. Higher fees are paid by the franchise company. I think that's right.
Their fees.
Their fees. Okay, there's a typo. Are paid by a franchise company when a client opens their business. So apparently that's a little unique. Without any further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Rick Morgin. How are you, Rick?
Hey, I'm doing great, Jamie, and thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to be a guest on your show. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this because there's all this stuff going on with franchise. What is a franchise? Everybody automatically thinks that the golden arches or something like that for franchise. And I'm hoping you'll be able to shed some light on that. And many of the people that are watching this are business owners, and perhaps whatever it is that they're doing, they have an opportunity to maybe franchise that and grow their business that way through, as you said, systems, processes, and all that. Before we get into that, though, I'm wondering if you could share with us a little bit more about who you are, what your background is, and what you're up to now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I had a long corporate career in the beverage industry. I say I've sold, marketed, and financed wine, beer, and spirits. But you go through job changes, and then maybe that third time around, I was just saying to myself, okay, man, do you want to go through this process again? And well, maybe there's something that you can take your experience, your skills, and apply it to something different. And coincidentally, or I say fortunately, I went to a networking meeting about 6.5 years ago, and met a woman who had left her banking career, her finance career, and was doing what I'm doing now in the franchise industry. 3 months later, I was hooked. I made the leap from corporate to 1099, part of a large consulting group, and we now offer multiple services, help people invest in franchising, help business owners understand what it takes to become a franchise if that's what they're looking at as their growth and exit
Oh,
strategy.
oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, congratulations on successfully making the leap.
Yeah, it's been 6 years in a month. Well, 6 years and 2 months now.
Wow.
But yeah, you're right about your opening comments. Franchising is well beyond fast food and retail. Well beyond. I mean, there's some great innovative concepts out there. I mean, one in the automotive industry, a waterless car wash. 6 to 8 ounces of the solution that is manufactured by the company replaces 29 to 35 gallons of water. So if you're thinking about a business that can help the environment, especially in drought states, or could even be wet states too, because of the water is always precious anywhere. That's a great business model. But we also, that's one example, but we also have this whole ecosystem that I like to talk to business owners about that process of not only becoming a franchise, but growing it, getting you as the CEO of your franchise company in touch with peers, kind of a CEO peer-to-peer educational process over a couple of days. We provide the leads to that organization that helps you grow it by educating your candidates. And then we can also help market and drive awareness by, we have a franchise expo circuit called the Great American Franchise Expo, which participating in the whole process, you get recognition and awareness, and as an exhibitor at no extra charge. And then we also produce an online magazine that goes out every single month, and that creates awareness of you as a new franchise. So, and then we even have the resources to help you exit if that ever.
Oh, wow.
If that magical moment ever happens.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it sounds like you pretty much you're running the gambit there.
Well, this whole ecosystem is fairly new, within the last, probably since June. But it was the company, the heads of the company were putting all these pieces together, and they've come together. And now if somebody's interested, we can work with them all the way through, from the first meeting all the way to getting to 500 units, whatever it may be.
Wow. That's fantastic. So I have a couple questions. So it's neat to hear the different ideas and concepts that are out there. What about a business, say for instance, Bottleneck Distant Assistance, and we have a system in place, and I wanted to maybe franchise Bottleneck. Is that something you guys could help with?
I think so. I mean,
so is it?
Here is one thing that I talk about when I'm speaking with a business owner, is that Bottleneck, Jamie, with Bottleneck, you could continue to grow and service more and more customers and clients. But as you grow, you're adding your infrastructure and your overhead and that layer of management to be able to support your growth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, looking at a franchise model, you localize it. You localize it because of somebody being a Bottleneck franchise owner in Phoenix, Arizona. They may have the city of Phoenix, the metropolitan area, or the whole state doing what you do and providing those distant assistance. And they've got skin in the game because they've invested in you and your business. They've invested in the leadership of Jamie J. And by doing that, your revenue stream changes a little bit as you grow as a franchise owner, because they're paying you an upfront fee, a franchise fee. And that may be a common number is common franchise fee is $49,500. That's what's paid up front to become a Bottleneck franchise owner. in whatever city. And then based on all of the research and study and preparation to get you to become a franchise, you've determined what is the right royalty. Maybe it's a flat fee. Maybe it's a percentage of the gross revenue. Typically, it's more often than not is a percentage of the gross revenue. So that franchise owner in Phoenix, Arizona is going to remit back to Bottleneck 8% of their monthly gross revenue, their top line revenue. And I mean, a quick math that's purely hypothetical, and it would be every franchisor's dream if you got to 100 franchises and you're collecting, what is that, $4,900,000 in franchise fee for the 100, 8% of revenue. Let's assume they get to $500,000. That's $4 million in additional revenue, which you can put back into your business to get to 200, or internationally. Bottleneck could be an international brand. I mean,
we already are.
Okay, you are. All right, so you could expand that through franchising, but a lot of it depends on the business owner's vision. Not everybody wants to try to become the next big thing.
We sure do.
That's okay. But so the next big thing, well, one example. All right, so there's a quick service oil change company called Strickland Brothers 10-minute oil change. When they came into our inventory towards the end of 2019, they might have had 15 to 19 locations, including 1 or 2 corporate. Now they've grown to close to 250.
Wow!
In about 18 months.
Wow.
And that they've of course had help along the way to help them manage that growth, so that they can support and their own ecosystem and have happy, performing, profitable franchise owners.
Wow.
So
that's right. So what is the difference between franchising and licensing? And is there what are the pros and cons?
We have a couple, maybe a handful of licensed businesses, licensing opportunities in our portfolio. So I'll relate that on that level of experience. So one is a light manufacturing sign company, and so everything appears to be like a franchise. It looks like a duck, as they say, but there are upfront fees that goes to the company, and then buying the equipment, package, and the whole thing. But the license owner is allowed to create their own culture, their own branding. It could be creative designs instead of Sign World. Sign World is the parent. So you create your own culture, your own brand identity.
You're just using the systems and the processes.
Yeah. Yes.
And then, so it looks like it's just you, but in essence, you're licensing the proprietary information.
Yeah, you're tapping into all the vendor relationships to get the best pricing on equipment, whatever equipment is needed, and especially as you grow. And there are no royalties. So Creative Designs is not going to pay a royalty to Sign World.
So, but they pay a licensing fee, and I would imagine that licensing fee is probably higher in the beginning, but over time it would be a lot less. Is that correct?
That's correct. I mean, the whole starting package could be $210,000, but everything's one time.
Yeah.
And then so that starts with a basic package to produce signs, and as you grow, then you're going to acquire more equipment, but you're not paying additional fees year over year.
Gotcha.
So
if you want to kind of be out on your own, but you don't really want to start something from scratch, licensing might be a good alternative. Whereas if you kind of want to have the support and infrastructure and not have to worry about the design and the marketing and all of that, you might want to lean a little more towards franchising. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, it'd be safe to say. I mean, within the licensing opportunities we deal with, the sign manufacturing, that owner can go after any revenue stream they want. If they choose to just focus on vehicle wraps with whomever, or it's more 3D type printing and raised signage on the exterior of corporate buildings, things like that. You don't have to follow a script of these are your 6 revenue streams.
Gotcha.
You can choose. One may choose a traditional route. One may choose vehicle wraps, and that's all they do. So they've been able to develop that expertise. Now with licensing, and again speaking to the ones that we represent, you're building equity, and that may be that's a big difference, I think, in other types of licensing, where it's more multi-level marketing.
Mm-hmm.
With this licensing business, whether it's sign manufacturing or CBD, retail and e-commerce, you're building equity so that when you exit, if based on what your profit or your cash flow is, EBITDA, you can sell that for a multiple. And that happens with franchising too.
Oh, I was just going to say that. So you can still get in on franchising and grow that business to the best of your capability. And then when you step away, you have that.
Yes. There's going to be industry standards, and it may be different for a heavier CapEx franchise that may be in portable storage or waste management than personal services, coaching or training, sales training, cost reduction, things like that.
So the franchisee, not the franchisor meaning the creation.
Yeah.
Gets franchisees, which franchisees franchise the brand, the messaging, the system, all of that stuff, right? So if a franchisee goes in somewhere, that franchisee, is the franchisor the one that's paying for the building and paying for all of that, or paying for, the car wash to be set up, or is it the franchisee that's paying for all of that?
It's the franchisee who is paying for the build out, the acquisition of the equipment, whether it's financing or lease or cash, the build out of any office space or studio, salon, etc. The acquisition of the computer equipment that runs the business, creates the great customer experience, things like that. That's all identified up front in the process when a client of mine is investigating franchising, because by law, federal and state law, when I introduce a client to a franchise, and shortly after that introductory phone call of like you and I getting to know each other, the franchise company has to disclose that business by sending them it's a legal document called a franchise disclosure document. That is it's really a very near-term historical picture of the entire business. So an FDD that was updated in 2021 is going to reflect calendar 2020, 2019, 2018, and depending how far they want to go back. So in that FDD, every single FDD for every franchise in the country, and there's almost 4,000, has the same number of chapters, and those chapters are referred to as items. So item 7 will give that candidate a line item detail of the cost to open the business. And it goes from a low to a high.
And so so a franchisee is going through this, and will they sign this FDD?
Well, what they do is, it's not signing the FDD, it's the other legal part is the candidate has an acknowledgement of receipt.
Okay.
Prove that they received the FDD.
Yes. Okay.
It's just acknowledged. It's nothing binding. It's just, I received it. Yes. Check it off, sign, set it back. And that step of that, I guess, legal process is complete.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what's really cool about this to me is that I can start a business. Like for me, I started Bottleneck, but I started this thing like with no support, nothing. We bootstrapped it. I learned along the way. We built this, like, this is 15 years in the making, this company, right? And it took so long, and it's kind of scary. However, if you identify a franchise, or you say, hey, you know what? I really love, I want to get into, I want to clean cars or whatever it is, right? I don't want to be the car washer. I want to be the owner. You can actually go and look at all these different types of franchises and find one that fits with you really well. And then you have all the systems, all the processes, all the marketing, training coming in, and you get to be part of a group that has a bigger buying power because you're part of a bigger group, so you get the discounts on those things. So you can basically invest your money in that, and then you're operating something that's been tried, tested, and proven already.
Oh, exactly. Yes, and that is a great description of the franchising process of a franchise company. I think you hit it perfectly. And let's see, a couple of things. Look at Bottleneck. 15 years from bootstrapping to now. People who were, if you were to become a franchise, people would learn from everything you've done. You've made mistakes. This can be applied to any franchisor. They've figured it out, honed their processes based off of learning the mistakes and hopefully not making the same one. But now they've proven success, been able to document the steps involved to run the business from day to day. And that can be communicated, and the franchise owner can be trained in that process, and along with their staff. And then through a short ramp-up period, now they're ready to operate and run their business under that franchise brand and the marketing and sales and operations processes to grab market share.
Wow.
Be successful in their territory, in their defined territory. So
it's exciting.
It is, and we love stories. When we're communicating a business to a potential client, we love telling the stories of how this brand came to be, from the idea to maybe manufacturing items in a garage and then expanding, and now they're ready to go to a national footprint. So that's what people like to hear, is the stories, not just the nuts and bolts of the business, but there's a bit of a dream factor there.
Yeah.
Too,
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think I see. And I think many people that are business leaders, business owners, they want to get to a certain point to where maybe they exit, or maybe they have other people coming in to kind of run the operation, so they can kind of step back. I call this approaching your encore life, right? And I can see how a bunch of people can get excited about this. What I really look at, and why I appreciate this conversation so much, is I'm a massive systems, processes, workflow freak, massive. And I love seeing something documented. And one of my favorite sayings is by a gentleman by the name of Scott Beebe, who is in the epigraph in my book that's coming out. It says, do something as if it's the last time you're ever going to do it, right? That's magical to me, because that's so powerful. That sentence is so powerful. And that, in essence, is what franchising is. The other cool part about this is, if you're looking to be a franchise, like an actual franchise, be the franchisor, it's all about systems and processes and all of that. So as you're doing something, the more you document it, the more you plan that stuff out, the easier it is for someone to come in and say, oh my gosh, they've got it all laid out. All I have to do is follow step 1, step 2, step 3. I mean, making it super, super, super simple. And I think that's what a lot of franchises are capable of doing. Some better than others, obviously, right? Because their systems are better.
Sure.
The whole McDonald's thing. They know how many sesame seeds go in each one. Like, it's crazy. They didn't start out like that. I'll tell you that. It took them a while to get there, but that's what I really love about it. And I wonder if you could talk to that for a little bit of a moment. Because you help people become franchises and you help franchisees work with franchises. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes. What I like about the quote you started off with, it kind of means you got to be you're in the moment, right? You're present, you're focusing on whatever you're doing, and just completing that step, whether it's a physical step or a mental step, to the best of your ability every single time. And yes, if someone is looking to invest into franchising for whatever reason, whatever goal they have, we first make sure that they're going to be comfortable following that proven process and not necessarily challenge it. There are ways to challenge it. There are ways to improve things, but not go off on your own. More often than not, a franchise owner who is being challenged could be because they have deviated from the operations of that business and perhaps thought they could do something better. Doesn't mean that those processes and systems can't change. Everything has to evolve, right?
Processes, I always say processes are a living, breathing aspect of your business. As soon as you finish completing the foundation, guess what? You're just getting started.
I had a CFO of a company, this goes back a few years, who stood up in the national meeting, and she shocked the heck out of everybody. She was giving her finance presentation of the whole corporation. And she goes, come on, you guys, as soon as you complete the annual plan, the next day it's out the window, and everything's changed. So
it's so true. It is totally true. Holy cow!
I like franchises that have these franchisee or franchise owner peer groups or boards that meet on their own and maybe communicate with the company quarterly, because they're learning from each other, and especially with best practices.
Yeah.
And then if you have a practice that is becoming implemented by more and more franchisees and it's proving successful, then they can communicate that to the franchise company, who can look to adopt it. Now, if they adopt it, then they've got to update their FDD the next year with the implementation of that marketing process or sales process or technology, whatever change that was made. And that's what the change in ownership model from being so immersed in your business to a franchise model allows that owner to step back and be the guide of the company in the industry against competition, but they're also receiving that change in revenue stream from the franchise fee and the royalty to be able to reinvest into the company to match technologies or marketing programs, or just in consumer insight. How are consumers behaving?
I love it. I think franchising is, obviously it's not right for everybody. Not everybody wants to grow, but also somebody else wants to create their own thing. Licensing may come into play there. But whether it's licensing or franchising, I highly recommend reaching out to you, Rick, because there might be some ideas you don't even know to think about or to ask about. And that's why I think it's really nice that you're doing what you're doing and helping business leaders grow or direct their future in the way that they want to take it, right? So there's so much flexibility, whether you want to establish a franchise or you want to be part of a franchise, an existing franchise, to kind of have your business in a box, so to speak, right?
Right.
Either way, it's nice to have someone like yourself that can kind of guide them in the right direction.
Yes, and I'm all about providing the educational platform to give, whether it's the potential business owner or the business who wants a franchise, the information that they have at their fingertips so that they can make a decision. I want to become a franchise. I can seek resources on my own, but here are some resources that Rick recommended. or if you're looking to become a business owner, a franchise owner for whatever reason. I talked to somebody this morning, had an early morning Zoom call about, he's a business owner, but he was looking at diversification of his revenue. So again, I'm all about providing the transparency of an educational process to get all the clients' questions answered, get them in a position to feel that they like the business, that they're going to enjoy what they do, but also enjoy being part of this franchise organization.
Being part of the culture, part of something.
Yeah, I say, hey, when the franchising process, towards the very end of it, is a franchise company will hold what is a meet the team or discovery day, and it may require some travel. Spend about a day and a half at the corporate headquarters. A lot of them are still virtual. But the analogy I would use when it was really all physical before COVID was, if you're sitting on the plane on the tarmac and you have this feeling in your stomach that you're just not sure, then don't do it. Don't settle.
Listen to your gut.
Yeah, don't go into it half-hearted, half committed. Listen to your gut. You got that feeling in the pit of your stomach that it's great, but maybe I don't want to spend my day doing this. Then fine. It's okay to say no. I always say no was better than maybe.
Yes, it is. You know what you're doing. At the same time, you still have to push yourself, I think. And there's a certain, for me, there's a certain benefit to being uncomfortable, or to being comfortably uncomfortable. Because if I feel comfortable, I am not pushing it hard enough, right? So I always got to try and figure something out to make me uncomfortable. The good news is, with a franchise or something like that, if you're into it a year or two, you can get out. Usually, right?
Yeah. I mean, there is that feeling of uncomfortable and pushing yourself because you're looking forward, right? What I'm not feeling right. What do I need to do to get to that next revenue threshold?
But then you have the support too. Right?
Yeah, you have the support. Exactly. You have the best franchise companies will never leave you alone. They've got field people. They've got headquarter people. They may have monthly or biweekly conference calls with all their franchise owners, give you a platform to talk about issues, one-to-one follow-ups. If a marketing program isn't working, you can address that. There is that support and that continual training. Those are the best of the best, I would say.
I love it. Well, how do people get in touch with you, Rick?
Well, I have several ways to contact me. There's an email address right there, rick@thefranchiseconsultingcompany.com. My cell phone is always available. I'm going to code 925-324-6371. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I'm on Pacific time. LinkedIn is, LinkedIn/in//Richard Morgin. I'm also on other social media platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram and Twitter. I can be found there. And when this is ready, I will. I'm going to promote this podcast and Bottleneck like I've never promoted anything before, because I really appreciate the chance to be on your show.
Oh my gosh. Well, Rick, it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean that, and thank you for kind of shedding some light on, is your business franchisable? Really, really interesting insight into that. Again, I can't recommend enough for people to reach out to you. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this today before we wrap?
Sometimes determining or questioning whether should I investigate this on, is my business franchisable? It could be as simple as, do you have a calling? I connected with a restaurant owner in Southern California who just told me about this incredible calling, about people always asking him, where can I find this food in my market? Are you franchising? And then, of course, the answer was no. But then there are other aspects of whether, we can talk about whether your business is franchisable, but if you really feel that your business, product, service can be replicated in other markets and you can support that, let's have that conversation.
Love it. I love it. Rick, thank you. Do you have just a moment to kind of hang on while I wrap up?
Of course.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rick.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Pleasure.
So I've been talking with Rick Morgin, and my apologies for saying Morgan in the beginning. It's Morgin, and I should have known better. My bad. That's on me. But hopefully we're able to stop the bottleneck in your business today, or maybe give you some ideas on, is your business throwing in the licensing there as well, because that may be an option for you too. But if you're like me and you really want to grow your business and establish a future and help others out and bring them along with you during the process, you might be thinking about an opportunity to either franchise your business or become a franchisee so that you have that support, because it's tough. It's lonely being an entrepreneur sometimes, and to have those support groups around you around your business who know your business inside and out because they're all practicing the same systems, processes, and workflows. Oh my gosh, it might be an incredible time. So please do me a favor and reach out to Rick. We've been talking today about, is your business franchisable? The consultant of franchise consulting company, Rick Morgin. And I cannot recommend it enough. I'm going to say it again. Go check it out. You can visit his website. You can visit his email. I'll put his email back up here one more time, rick@thefranchiseconsultingcompany.com. Or you can give him a call on his cell phone. You don't see that too often anymore. He's in the Bay Area, 925-324-6371. He's in the Bay Area, so that is a Pacific Standard Time. So keep that in mind if you're reaching out to him, so you're not waking him up at 3 in the morning for those of you on the East Coast. But I just want to say thanks real fast. And a couple really quick things. I want to do a little bit of house cleaning here. If you like this video and you want to watch more, over 100 videos, learn how you can break through the bottleneck in your business today by subscribing to the show. You can go to Bottleneck.Online/BTV to learn a little bit more about it. You can go right there and you'll say subscribe. We even give you a step-by-step. Subscribing is actually on YouTube, but we would love to have you as a subscriber. We're really trying hard to focus on building that so we can answer the questions that you have. And a little bit of stuff coming soon to your earbuds. Co-founder of HomeZada, speaker and mentor, how to start and scale a technology business to 7 figures. We'll be talking with Elizabeth on Tuesday, August 17th at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. And previously, if you missed this one, you got to check this out. I had a great conversation with Haney Grady Williams. We were talking about, if you're ready for the future of work, ask a Gen Zer. Get this. She is 23 years old, or 23 years young, graduated from university at age 18, and has just been on fire since. And she actually sold her first piece of real estate when she was just 12 years old. So if you missed that conversation, it's a really good way, especially if you're hiring somebody right now or looking to hire somebody. She is a great person to reach out and talk to. Listen to this episode, because you're going to learn how to talk to and how to converse and how to build relationships with our wonderful Generation Z that's coming up soon. So last thing before we wrap is my book, Quit Repeating Yourself. No, that is not the cover, but guess what? I am so excited. I was going to hold off on this, but I just can't contain myself. As of this morning, and according to the timeline on this call, guess what? I actually, I cannot believe this, but I actually got my cover design here, and I'm going to pop it up here and show you if I can. I don't know if I can show you here. Let me see if I can share this, because this I'm excited. And you're just going to have to bear with me, because this is a lot of fun for me. Let me see if I can share it, because if I can, it's going to be so cool. Gosh, I hope I can work this out. There we go. There we go. I'm going to share my entire screen. Heck with it. Look at this. There's the new book cover. It's out. Yay! I am just a goofball and a half. So I just want to say thank you for letting me share that with you. And it looks like we are about done for today. So book's coming out August 31st, 2021. It's called Quit Repeating Yourself. And it's a course. It's along the lines of how the intersections of culture, leadership, systems, processes, recruiting, and hiring. I hope you get it. I hope you love it. More information coming on that soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rick, for joining us today.
Oh, it's fantastic. I had a great time.
Fantastic. Good deal. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up. And yeah, thanks, everybody.